Okay, so today I'd like to talk about the sampled envelopes and freezing them. It took me a while to get my head around this. I kept thinking it was going to change the sound, but no, duh, it's envelopes. So when you freeze the envelopes, whatever is being triggered here freezes. So you can send these envelopes anywhere, of course. In a sense, you could have a 16-stage sequencer that is driven by a sound. Now, the sound is very important. You want to put a sound that has some motion going on so that you can get varying frequency analyses that allow you to then freeze them. If you use just a static sound, then it's already frozen. So the sound I'm going to use is a sweeping. It's just a triangle wave coming out of the 259E mod oscillator. And what that looks like is, and so every time these go high, they send out an envelope. What I'm going to do is just take one of these and go straight to a 292. I have a 261E, both the principal oscillator and mod oscillator going into separate channels. I have the principal oscillator of 259E going into a third channel, so I have three sounds, and the fourth sound is what you're seeing, triangle wave being swept. So if you just follow the dots, when I plug this in, every time it goes by, it sends off its little envelope and opens and closes the 292. And of course I can add the other ones in. And of course I can freeze them. And I can add a third one in. And now what we can do is use some of these other envelopes. Of course, you could stack on these and send them to voltage processors, 254E, 257, 256, and do other wild things. Or we could take this and this sound that you're hearing. Let me just take those. That sound is coming out of a 259. Now if I change the morph, it'll go to the other side, which is a twisted wave. And give it even more character and motion by coming and going to warp. Maybe use this one. Yeah. Okay. Put these back in. That goes over here. And now I can take one and go to the timbre of the 261. And another one and go to symmetry. And all along, we're just watching this, or listening to that go up and down. And if I freeze something, it still doesn't affect the incoming wave. And we can actually even use some transfer modes. That's odd to even, now even to odd to even, and even to odd together. This is the channel, the quad function generator that's doing the voltage sweep of the mod oscillator. If I take that and sort of clock divide it, I can then send an envelope, or send a CV to the envelope and stop it, but stop it in tempo. Okay, and let's see, patch cord here. Of course, we can also take a pulsing output, go to the fourth channel on the 292, and bring our original sweeping sound in and pulse it. And of course, this the tempo of this sequencer can change depending on where I set the pitch. Or changing wave shape. Here's a fun little use of the freeze function on the envelopes coming out of the 296E. Right now, all I have is the 296E analyzing a randomly sweeping, I think it's, sort of like triangle sign thing. Here we go. So that is what you're seeing here. And you'll notice I'm not taking any audio out of the 296E. I'm just using it to drive these envelope followers. And these envelope followers go down and go directly to the 292. So they're opening and closing filters. And sometimes they're fading in, sometimes they're not even missing, sometimes they go very fast. That's, just get used to watching what that does. And that's the envelope going out to there. Same with all those. But I can also hold this and freeze the sound. I'm going to go back to this patch so you can hear it. So I can freeze that. Now I could send either a periodic pulse here or a random one. I'm coming out of the fluctuating random voltage, and we'll see what that does. Okay, you get the idea. I'm using random pitches, but of course you could use a sequence, and you could then also, instead of using a sequence of notes, pitches, but you could, instead of using the random fluctuating voltage, use a periodic wave coming out of a function generator and have it stop on different stages of that sequence. Okay, enjoy. Of course, I just scratched the surface here. By sending more complex waves in there, you could actually be pinging these instead of what I had, the wave. It would like fade in and fade out every articulation. You could send these, of course, to quad function generators, the envelope generators, and shape them further before going to the 292. I just chose going to the 292 because it was a simple straight line. Have fun, explore. I've just, as I say, touched the surface of this function.